You know, some stories are just so incredible, so packed with romance and drama and heroism that you think there's no way that's real. It has to be fiction. Well, today we're diving into one of New England's most famous legends, a story that is, against all odds, completely true.
And that question, it's really the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a fairy tale. A young woman starts with absolutely nothing, captures the heart of a nobleman, and then, through this insane trial by fire, somehow earns the respect of the entire world. Let's find out how she did it.
I just love this line from one of the old accounts of the story. It just perfectly captures that one moment that set everything in motion. It's that classic Cinderella scene, you know? But this one has a uniquely American twist. It's a moment of pure destiny, just hiding out in some dusty, noisy tavern. Okay, so to really get this journey, we have to go right back to the beginning, to a place that was just as rugged and unique as our heroine herself. So try to picture this, a town built on such a rocky coast that they actually built the houses first, and then the streets just had to kind of wind their way around them. It was this place of, quote, capricious and eccentric individualism, built by tough-as-nails fisherfolk. This is the world that shaped our hero, Agnes Surridge.
So here she is, meet Agnes. As you can see, she's the daughter of a poor fisherman, working as a maid, scrubbing tavern floors with no shoes on. But what all the accounts emphasize is this incredible contrast. Despite her humble, dirty work, she had this rare beauty and a kind of natural dignity that just couldn't be ignored. So one day in 1741, this dashing, super wealthy guy, Sir Harry Franklin, he rides into town. He stops at the Fountain Inn for a drink, and there she is. And he is just completely captivated by her grace, and honestly, he's moved by her poverty. He actually gives her a coin to buy some shoes and stockings, and then he rides away. But he just can't get her out of his head. This one totally random meeting, it's the spark that's about to change her entire life.
Well, Frank Land couldn't forget her. He comes back, but not just to see her. He becomes her guardian and takes her to Boston. And this is what starts her transformation from a simple tavern maid to a fine lady. And let me tell you, it was a journey that was just as scandalous as it was remarkable.
Just remember this. Her whole world was the slosh of a bucket, the rough wood of the tavern floor, the simple, hard life of a fishing village.
And now, look at this. Under Franklin's wing, she's thrown into this world of high culture and refinement. She learns to sing, dance, paint, play music, all the fancy accomplishments of the day. And what's amazing is she's a natural at all of it. She really does transform from a maid into a lady.
But this is where things get really complicated. Franklin was totally in love with her, but his ancestral pride, as they called it, kept him from marrying a poor girl. So Agnes was trapped. She was stuck in this awful social no man's land. She wasn't a simple fisher girl anymore, but Boston's high society completely shunned her, seeing her as nothing more than a rich man's mistress.
So, what do? They get out of town. To escape all the judgment, Franklin builds this magnificent country estate way out in Hopkinton. We're talking a huge manor house with tapestries on the walls and terraced gardens. Here, far away from all the disapproving eyes, they basically create their own little world, living in this kind of lavish, self-imposed exile. So for years, they lived this idyllic but totally isolated life. But then, a trip to Europe sets the stage for a catastrophe, a disaster that's going to test their love and change Agnes's destiny forever. The scene is Lisbon, Portugal. At the time, it was one of the richest, most opulent cities in the entire world. It's a holiday, All Saints' Day. The city is just gleaming, people are headed to church, and Franklin is out for a ride in his fancy court dress.
And then, in an instant, everything shatters. One of the most devastating earthquakes in human history hits the city. The ground literally heaves like an ocean wave, buildings just crumble to dust, and Sir Harry Franklin is buried alive in the rubble, completely helpless. The entire city is plunged into absolute chaos and terror.
And this is the moment Agnes's true character just shines through. While thousands of people are fleeing in a total panic, her only thought is for Franklin. She runs through the ruined streets and somehow, miraculously, finds the exact spot where he's trapped. She starts tearing at the rubble with her bare hands, offering huge rewards to anyone who will help, and through just sheer force of will,
she saves the life of the man she loves.
This one act of pure heroism in the face of absolute horror marks the final and most important turning point in her entire story. You know, lying trapped under a building, facing death, it tends to give you some perspective. Franklin saw the whole thing as a divine judgment for the way he had treated Agnes. So, as soon as he recovered, he did what he should have done years before. He married her. And just like that, the barefoot maid from Marblehead officially became Lady Agnes Franklin. I mean, just look at this timeline. The journey is just astonishing. In about 2 decades, she goes from a barefoot maid to a celebrated hero to a titled lady and finally to a respected leader in the very same Boston society that had once turned its back on her. Her courage and her character completely rewrote her own destiny. So that brings us to the big question, right? Why are we still telling this story centuries later? What gives it such lasting power? Well, I think her legacy lasts because it just hits on all these timeless, powerful themes. It's the ultimate American rags to riches story, long before that was even a thing. It's a story about love conquering social class, a story of incredible heroism. But I think its real power might just lie in the fact that it's true. It's a romance so improbable, it feels like it has to be fiction, which reminds us that real life can be way more extraordinary than any story we could ever make up. In the end, Agnes's life really leaves us with this question. What is it that makes a story truly immortal? Is it the unlikely romance, the incredible, traumatic rescue? Or maybe it's something simpler, the powerful truth that a person's character and courage can triumph over literally any circumstance. It's a story that reminds us that sometimes the greatest legends aren't myths at all, but the true accounts of extraordinary lives.
And as we wrap up here, just a quick reminder that this explainer is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thanks so much for joining us.